Hello everyone!
Hello.
It's a beautiful spring day. My name is Joji and I am a knitter, and this is my knitting journal, and this is my mom.
I am Virginia. I am Joji's mom.
And we're both in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Today is November 23rd, so we're getting very close to the summertime here in the Southern Hemisphere. Mom has two sets of glasses. She has clear glasses and she has dark glasses for whenever she's outside, but she forgot to bring her clear glasses, so we'll be enjoying Mom's appearance with her sunglasses.
Camuflada?
Undercover.
Yeah.
I wish I was wearing sunglasses too, because today is very bright and we're facing a window, and so even though the curtains are closed, there's a lot of light coming in and I tend to have sensitive eyes. But anyway, this is a video about our knitting, and we are so happy to be sharing what we have been making with you all. This is my studio where I normally work during the day, working on all of my designs. And if you've been paying attention in my latest videos, you probably noticed that all the yarn behind me was into plastic bags. And actually, last time I spoke about that was last journal, when I talked about a moth problem that we had at my other house, my summer house, and how I had to put all my yarn into plastic bags. Well, it's been a long time now since we had that infestation in the summer house. All the yarn here has been quarantined for over a year, and it got me thinking when I recorded last journal that I really missed having the opportunity to see all the yarn and choose the colors appropriately. I don't know if you are able to see behind me, but all my yarn is arranged by color. So on this space over here, I have the heavier weights. So I have DK weight or bigger or heavier, and on this side I have the lighter weight. So I have all my mostly fingering weight and some sport weight yarn. And then behind Mom, on this side, I have all the fussy yarns. So on this side, I have all the mohair, alpaca, and other fussy yarns that I may have. I decided that I really needed to get the yarn out of the plastic bags after that long time with it in quarantine, when I was working on one of the projects that I'm going to show you, and I realized that I needed to add, I was using 4 colors, and I needed to add a 5th color in a contrasting shade, and I really couldn't decide what color. I kept opening bags and throwing yarn on the ground, and it was really hard for me to choose what the best color option for this combo was. In the past or now, whenever I have my yarn in front of me, I am able to put the yarn against my stash and then look at all the colors, and that way decide what would be the best fit color. And my office was a mess. I had really opened hundreds of skeins, and I decided, okay, it's time for me to go back to having all the yarn displayed. Someone freaked out in my last video because there was an insect flying inside my office. I don't have any moth problem here in my office. There were no moths flying in that video, and it might have been a fly because we are next to the garden. This is where my garden is, and so sometimes we have flies of different kinds, or we even have bees coming inside the office, but fortunately there are no moths inside this office. My strategy from now on is I'm going to have mothballs everywhere here. I already have moth little like hangers to keep the moth away. and I'm going to, every 2 weeks, I'm going to like clear every shelf, make sure that I dust and clean every shelf, and then put the yarn back, because I know that when you inspect the yarn periodically, the moth doesn't really like to be bothered, so they won't like put their eggs there. So that's the long story about the moth. Mom has been working with moth damaged yarn for the last year, I think. All the skeins that were damaged, that were living at the summer house.
I could take profit of them.
Yes, we inspected all of them. We decided which ones had been damaged, and it wasn't really such a big deal. There were a couple of cuts, but we froze everything in the freezer for several days before bringing those home. And then Mom has been working with mostly damaged yarn ever since, which has also been fun, because both of us really like to make the most of our materials. Even though we have a huge stash that you can see behind us, we're very respectful for them with the materials. We never take any yarn for granted, and so we always honor every scrap, every piece of yarn that we get, right? Nothing makes us happier than using up scraps and skeins, salvage skeins that otherwise would have been wasted. So that's Mom and I.
No tenés más lana en Boca Ratón, ¿no?
Yes, I do have some yarn there. Because I have to freeze everything that comes from the summer house, I don't bring everything at once. So I bring 4 or 5 skeins at a time. So everything that was damaged is already here. Everything that's there doesn't seem to be damaged. But every time I bring something home, I have to like quarantine it for a while, super inspect it and spray it, make sure that I don't bring any insects into this space in order to keep it safe, which has been safe so far. Oh, excuse me. So I'm thirsty today. It's very warm. It's not super hot.
It is warm at the sun. It is windy, so it is not so uncomfortable.
Right. Okay. Should we talk about our knitting?
Yeah.
Do you have any finished objects to show us?
Only one. Only one. Have you published it?
No, I won't, but we can show it.
Okay.
Perhaps I should talk about, before showing this, I will talk about the patterns that were published in the term between our previous journal and this one. So there were 3 patterns out. 2 of them were published around the time of Barcelona Knits. I'm going to talk about the show at the end. So I'm going to put some photos here. The first one is called Crystal Fantasy Wrap, and it's a rectangular wrap that is worked from both ends towards the center. Of course, I don't have any of these knits. Both the shawls were gifted to their respective dyers who I met at the show, and so I don't have them here with me. The first one, Crystal.
I could bring mine. I didn't remember.
Yeah, we showed your Barcelona in the previous show.
No, it was in my needles.
Oh, Crystal Fantasy, we didn't show it.
No, for the next time.
For the next time. Okay, so Crystal Fantasy was designed for La Bien Aimée yarns, and it uses 1 skein of a single ply fingering and 1 skein of Kumo and alpaca blend. And the other shawl is called Streets of Barcelona. It was inspired by the streets of Barcelona and its styles, and it was designed for walk collection yarns, cozy merino fingering. It requires 2 skeins also. And so the dyers were at the show. They were vending at Barcelona Knits.
This one you showed.
Both of them I showed.
No, my show.
Yeah. So if you want to learn more about these shawls, Mom and I talked about them in our previous episode, but these are the finished photos. I hope you like them. The shawls were very welcome, and the dyers were selling the yarns that they created for these
For the
shawls.
shawl.
And yeah, and the third pattern, I don't have it also because these socks are living at our summer house, and it's a pair of worsted weight socks called perennial socks, and they were made using 2 skeins of my yak medium, baby yak medium, in the colorway Moth. These are super quick socks. They are knitted from the toe up, which is unusual for me. I usually make my socks from the top down. And I don't know, I knit this a long time ago. I think I just wanted to start a new project. I was in between projects. I needed to start something fun, and I made these socks in a couple of weeks. It didn't take me long, even though everything takes me quite a long time. And yeah, so I guess it's been a productive time. There are beautiful patterns for you to make Christmas gifts. If you are still making any gifts, these are all very quick patterns, and you can go check them out on Ravelry and or my website jojiknits.com. Now,
Don't ask me about which is the yarn.
I know which yarn this is.
Thanks.
Okay, Mom test knitted for me. This is a pattern that you have seen multiple times here on the journal, and the sample is lying there on the back of my seat, but I'm going to show you my sample again when the pattern's published. I'm going to show you Mom's sample now. This pattern will be called Arco Iris, which means rainbow.
Rainbow.
And she test knitted for me. This is a beautiful raglan v-neck. My sample is designed for Lola Bean Yarns DK, and I added details, cable details on the cuffs and cable details on the bottom hem.
You made it with shorter.
Yeah, my sample is elbow length, and Mom made it long sleeved. I am pretty sure that this is Malabrigo Rios in Playa.
Okay, thank you.
Almost sure. My sample, I think it's thicker. Maybe?
I don't believe it, but maybe.
Oops. Let's see, I'm gonna go get my sample anyway. I was wearing it today because I was cold. Or maybe it looks thicker than yours because of the way we blocked us. No, it's the same amount of cables. So this is mine.
Maybe you think it is bigger because yours is shorter.
Yes, the neckline.
And it's
I think you might have blocked it a little bit looser than mine.
Yeah.
Also, and the yarn is different.
Yeah.
So Arco Iris is coming. I talked to Adela, and we will be publishing this pattern. I will be publishing this pattern, and she will be offering the yarn that I use for my sample on December 1st. So in just a week. So it's coming out next week. I'm pretty excited about this pattern. I hope you guys like it. It's a very simple to wear,
very simple to knit,
and to knit, but it has cute details. So that is your
It
finished
took me only
object.
4 skins. Only 4
That
skins.
is pretty
Yeah.
spectacular for
Yeah.
a full size
because it is full size.
sweater. Do you remember which size you made?
It's 5.
5. 4 skeins only?
4 skins. Because I had 5 and I had one left.
Mine took only a bit over 3, I think.
No. I was surprised.
Okay, I have a finished object to share with you. I shared the beginning of this cardigan last time I recorded, and now it's finished. It's behind me. And this is a pattern that I am currently working on. I haven't finished writing the pattern yet, but I am pretty in love with the result. I'm gonna take this off. I don't wanna get it caught in the yarn.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Isn't it so beautiful?
Beautiful.
So this pattern is something I'm very proud of. This is exactly how I like to dress, right? This is how I dress
Very,
all
very
the time.
nice.
This yarn is absolutely stellar. This is a newish yarn by Woolfolk Yarn. I have added details like cables down the cuffs, and I have also added little pockets in matched stitch pattern over here. This pattern won't come out until next year, because I don't know if I told you or you that I am trying to write a book,
No, I didn't know it.
and we'll see how it works. You know that I can't keep things secret.
You don't stop.
I stop. I stop. I take holidays. But in order for me to write a collection that has meaning, there has to be a common theme. And so you're hot? Okay. Okay. Now you feel better. We're turning on the AAC. In order for me to write a collection that has meaning, first there has to be a common theme, and then I have to knit a lot of pieces. And so pieces. And so I considered whether I could like stockpile a lot of secret projects without you guys knowing, without sharing on Instagram, without, you know, showing anything of what I'm working on. But then I would be silenced for most of a year. I couldn't share with you when I was working on the pieces for Modern Daily Knitting's field guide, the little book that came out published by Modern Daily Knitting called Grace. I designed 4 pieces for that collection, and it took me a long while to work on those 4 pieces, and they were things that I was really proud of, but I couldn't really share them because they were going to be part of this collection. So I think that by me sharing what I'm working on and the things that I'm designing, even if they are going to be part of a book or collection by myself later, I'm sort of killing the surprise. And you know, sometimes might not be the best for business. On the other hand, I hope it helps build up the excitement for whatever it is that I end up writing, and that when it comes out, you know, these designs a little bit better, and I was maybe able to share how each design was made before the whole thing comes out. I still don't know what the format will be. The common ground for all of these designs will be that they will be made with fuzzy yarns. Fuzzy yarns meaning whatever has a little halo. It could be alpaca, mohair, maybe some strangely spun yarn that has this fuzzy finish. But that is my common theme for this collection. It might be in paper, I probably not, because that's so expensive, and I don't know how I would distribute it. But it might be in paper, it might be ebook. I might even do like a subscription. I don't know. I'm still working out the details, but I do know that this cardigan, I'm so happy with it, and it's going to be part of this new collection about fuzzy knits. So the yarn is called THE. I call it Tage. I know it's called something different in Danish, the language that this word belongs to, and it means fog, and it's TA with a little circle on top, GE. I think I read something like it's pronounced 2 or 2 on Woolfolk's website, but I'm blanking now, so I apologize to any Danish knitters out there watching, and you probably know what I mean. The color is a beautiful dusty rose, dusty pink, and it took, the skeins are 50 grams, and I think I used 6.5 because I had 10. I had 3 there on my shelf, and I have a half-use skeins. So it's only over 300 grams, under 350 grams.
¿Qué agujas?
I use US 8 or 5 millimeter needles, and the gauge is really loose. I don't remember exactly, but something like 14 or 15. So it knits up in no time. Like really quick project. Really quick project. That is my only finished.
I love it.
Thanks, Mom. Thank you so much. This is my only finished object for all of this time, I think. No, I'm going to go find another piece that's also part of the book. This yarn, I don't remember the name properly. Well, I added here. This is the yarn that I used. It was a purchase that I made in Iceland, and I wanted to make myself pretty basic hat, but I decided to do like a paper bag top for it. So it's really cozy, really bulky, but the fun part is over here, the way you sew down the top to make it look like a little paper bag bottom. Do you like it? So this is also going to be part of the Fussy Knits coming up next year. So those are my two finished objects.
Córrele un cachito más allá. Ahí está.
Those are my two finished objects
One in progress.
for this week. Just one in progress?
Yes, only one.
You didn't bring the fade cardigan?
Yes, but
Of
course.
Okay. Then you have two works in progress.
Yeah, but I thought you was not going to show it.
Yeah, we will. But first we'll show this. Do you want to tell about the yarn?
This one?
Yes.
Yes.
First, let me show you the right side. This is Mom's current work in progress. This is a lightweight hipster shawl.
It's super soft.
It's so
Super soft.
soft, you guys.
It's delicious. You know, one of my friends asked me, "Oh, I love it." I said, "No, it is for me." I would only give it to one person. It's you.
Mommy.
It's, it is demasiado.
Too
It
precious.
is too much. So
Yes. Okay, this yarn came from Spain. It was a gift given to my mom. I have recently been in Barcelona teaching at Barcelona Knits, as I mentioned, and I was lucky enough that I only had to teach or work during the mornings, and then I was able to visit the marketplace and the grounds, and I was able to meet a lot of yarn companies and dyers and friends who were vending there at the show. Oh, excuse me. One of the dyers that I really wanted to see was Aitana. Her brand is Aitana Villa, and she's from Spain. And Aitana has been a supporter of my knit along for the last 2 or 3 years. She has always donated incredible prizes for our knit along winners, and I knew she was going to be there at the show, so I wanted to come say hi. And she said, "I would love to send something to your mother, and this is something that I have chosen for her." And so she gave this skein of yarn to me for you.
yeah.
This is her Rosalind base. This is 70% alpaca, 20% silk, and 10% cashmere. And it's 400 meters in 100 grams skein. And the color name is, of course, Buenos Aires, the city where we are from. So this YouTube is amazing, but it will always fail to clearly show how soft this is. There's no,
incredible. It is incredible.
There's no way for us to really tell how beautiful this base is. The lightweight hipster takes only one skein of yarn, so it's a perfect pattern for these skeins, the skeins that are a little bit pricey or extremely special, like this one for my mom. And I encourage you to go find this dyer and ask her about her Rosalind base, because you won't be disappointed. Remember, Aitana Villa, and her base is Rosalind, 70% alpaca, 20% silk, and 10% cashmere. Super, super luxurious.
Super soft.
So this is your work in progress. It's living inside this year's Barcelona Knits tote bag, that as teachers we were giving a goodie bag with the Barcelona Knits logo. And do you want to keep that for your Ravelry notes? I'm gonna go get some more juice. Do you want some lemonade?
Yeah. I am so selfish too. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, I have many works in progress, Mom. I think I'll start with the shawl. Before leaving for Barcelona, I wanted to start a project that was very simple. And I had a lot of ideas for the book and things that I want to work on, but they are mostly sweaters, and I have been known for designing sweaters on the go and then not taking enough notes, which is what usually happens whenever I travel, and I'm trying not to do that anymore. So I will try not to bring sweaters, or not to bring the beginnings of sweaters when I am on the go. Instead, I will try to either make a project that is not designed, or make a shawl that is easy enough for me to, like, right before leaving, and then just work on the execution of set instructions. So I don't know how this is going to look like in the end, but I started a new shawl. I picked up 4 colors of green, and it's going to be a rectangular shawl, kind of like a big scarf, wrap, blanket, or however you want to call it. So the colors I picked are from 4 different companies, and I won't remember the colorway names, but I do remember the companies. So this is Life in the Long Grass single merino, and it's like a natural with yellow and black and like some turquoise speckles. Then I have these green, grello, greenish yellow from Nature's Luxury. Then this is Tosh Merino Light in Jade. I remember this yarn's name. And this is Fused Fiber Studio, a company that no longer exists. It's a single ply merino in this like super dark green. And yeah, so this is what my initial 4 colors look like together. And I've made 2 pieces. Both of them are the same. Can you grab them? Can you grab? So this is one piece, and the other piece is exactly the same, which made it a perfect travel body, this project. It was so easy to knit on the plane and on the car and whenever we were moving. So let me show you how I plan to assemble this. So this piece is going to go on that end, and this, so like this. No, the other way around. Hold on. That end. Yes. And so both centers should be on the same
Había unas marquitas.
So, like this. It should look like this. Like this. And so why didn't I make it like all in one piece? First of all, I didn't want to do intarsia with 4 balls of yarn. So as you can see, I'm striping 2 colors on one side, and then I'm going to join it to the 2 opposite colors. So I didn't want to carry all 4 balls of yarn in order to do intarsia. I'd rather like join something later.
How are you going to join them?
I am going to pick up stitches. This is going to be so big. I'm going to pick up stitches all along this edge, and also I'm going to pick up stitches all along the other piece's edge, and I plan to join this side with grafting. So both picked up stitches, I'm going to graft them together on the center, and then on the ends you saw that there are little angles on my pieces. I'm going to like work little edging triangles using all the colors. What occurred to me when I finished all these pieces was, wow, I made a really long shawl. This is very big. I was obviously very happy talking to my friend Vera, and I just kept knitting and knitting before changing colors. So now it's a super long wrap. Second thought was, wow, I don't know if I'll have enough yarn with these 4 skeins of yarn to finish such a big rectangle. And third thought was, maybe it needs a 5th skein of yarn, mostly because I just need another skein to complete the shawl, not because I really wanted a new color. So I thought, okay, maybe I will introduce a contrast color. And so I'm not sure about this. I've been thinking of adding a completely different color to the skein. So as you can see, these are my pieces, and you can see all the colors over there. And I've considered joining them using a completely different color, like salmon pink. I really like it when I see it like this.
I think it is like a spring shawl.
Yes, it's very true. It's a lot of leaves and blooms. I really like it when I put it like this. You know me better than that. I don't use bold color combinations. If I use color, I tend to use one color, not many. Maybe it's just one color family in a gradient, so this is challenging for me. But honestly, I added yellow, or I added other colors in the same color family, and it wasn't adding much. So I'm still undecided. I'm going to wind this up, but first, now that my yarn is out, I might come with my knitted pieces to my stash and see if there is some other color that I might want to add instead of the pink. I think the pink adds a lot. I think the pink will show all these geometric lines that I am talking about. I think the pink will highlight them and make the shawl look more interesting. The shawl is like the easiest thing that you can imagine. Even if it sounded like a lot when I was putting the pieces together. If you've ever knitted one of my shawls, one of my geometric designs, they are really easy.
Yes,
they are really easy.
I think it is very easy.
They look very complicated, but they are really easy to make. And they are super fun. Like if you've made a front shawl, or if you made
it's perfect for a trip.
Yes, or if you make like a starting point or a fading point and all those types of constructions, they look complicated. They look like you had to shape a lot of things, but actually they are very, very easy. This was for me the perfect travel body, the perfect traveling project. I am very happy about it. I'm just not working on this at the moment because I have the brain power to work on more complex designs. I finished my cardigan and I am now going to write the pattern. You'll see that I'm working on some other stuff. So I'm saving these for those times of my life when I have to, when I need something really, really easy to work on. So that's one of my works in progress. That's my shawl.
And you didn't finish your el que hacíamos juntas, el wrap, ¿cómo se llama?
La manta, the blanket.
Yeah.
No, I haven't. It's in Boca Raton. It's at the summer house now. That will be my
I found it in
summer
my
house.
wardrobe.
In your closet.
Yeah.
That will be my summer house project. Okay. My other work in progress, because I have more than you do. My other work in progress is this another easy project that I started over the weekend
For the boys.
for the boys. So this is a basic ribbed beanie that I'm making for my youngest son, Sebastian. My family and I don't know if I share this. I will be teaching at Vogue Knitting Live in February. I know that I shared this much. But also I am coming with my family on that trip, and then we are going to visit Scandinavia for 10 days. So we're going to do a route from Oslo to Bergen, then Tromsø, then Stockholm, Copenhagen, and then back home. It's going to be a 10-day tour around Scandinavian cities, and we are going to try to see Northern Lights. I don't know if we'll be lucky, but that is the main purpose of our trip, and the reason why we're going to Tromsø. And yeah, so it's going to be super cold there, and we will need beanies and mittens and huge jackets. But I realized that all the beanies, all the hats that we have at home have been beanies that I have either knitted for myself or that I knitted for my children, but several years ago. And I also remember that in recent trips, whenever Sebi, especially Sebi, tried to put one of those beanies on, it looked super tight, like this, tight. And I asked them, boys, do you think you want new hats for this trip? And they asked me, do you think we'll need hats? Will it be cold? I said, I'm pretty sure it will be freaking cold. So they said, okay, yes, we'll take new hats. Bigger, mom, please. So I am making them newer and bigger hats. This hat, as you can see, has plenty of space for my son's new head, which is very big. They have very big heads, my children. And on top of that, they both developed this super big...
You also have a big head.
I have a very big head for a woman. My kids have a huge head for men. My kids have such huge heads that most like technical equipment, helmets, they won't fit my children. So we have to look for brands that carry special sizing for their head size. On top of that, especially Sebi has developed this massive amount of curly hair since he turned maybe 12, 13. He's been growing these curls that are suddenly out of the blue. He's a curly guy, and so he needs a super big beanie, and he tried it on yesterday. He was super pleased with the way this is turning out, and he thinks I'm super fast. So I'm pretty proud of my beanie making. He's super impressed with my basic ribbed beanie. This is my son, who has seen me knit the most intricate stuff for 15 years. He came to my office today. I asked him to try this beanie, and he said, wow, you are a great knitter, when he saw me knitting this, which gives you perspective of how much my kids actually know about what I do. I don't think they know much. Yeah, so I asked them to pick yarn from Summer House. This is yarn that has been damaged by moth mostly. So this is one skein of yarn of Arroyo, Malabrigo Arroyo in the Pleiades colorway, and it had one cut, so it wasn't that bad. And we're turning it into a beanie for Sebi. And then Mariano also looked at my stash over there, but he couldn't find anything he liked at the summer house. So instead he came home, he looked at my newly arranged stash, and he picked this skein of very gray yarn. He said, you guys, you will laugh about this. He went to look at my stash at summer house, and you probably know what kind of colors I normally have of yarns. And so he came and said, Mom, how come you not have one single skein of gray yarn? I'm like, what? I have all this gray. That is not gray. That is like purpley gray. And this is gray. No, that is warm gray. No, this is gray. No, that is bluish gray. And this is gray. No, that is greenish gray. Well, my kid, it's not usually so annoying, but he was being annoying when choosing yarn for his beanie. And I said, don't worry, when you come home and you see the most of my stash, you will find gray. And he did. So he found the gray he liked. This apparently is the gray, you guys, the gray.
Only gray.
The only gray. And this is the this is Madeline Tosh yarn from long time ago. I don't know if they still make this base. I think they do. This is the 80-10-10 worsted. It's 80% merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon, and the colorway is called charcoal, which is the gray. Yeah, so as soon as I finish Sebi's beanie, I will cast on the beanie for Mariano, which should take shorter time because Sebi's is made using heavy sport weight, and Nanos is a worsted. So that is my other work in progress. Should we show your masterpiece that you're helping me with?
Look.
Do you have the swatch?
I had a problem, so I monté los puntos de los dos lados.
You picked up stitches.
Yes.
Do you have the swatch?
Yeah. Ay, no, está en casa.
Oh, it's okay.
Está en casa.
So Mom is helping me knit a sample of a new design that I worked. This is the swatch. I'm going to, yeah, so you can see it now on the screen. I got this set of yarns from La Bien-Aimée, and this is their Twist Nouveau base, and it's a new fade that Amy developed for this design. Although I'm pretty sure that you can get this base. I don't know if you can get these exact colors from her shop right now, but I think only one of them is a new color. The other are colors that Amy currently was making, and she just arranged them in a way that they create this fade. Because I'm going to go to Vogue and Amy's going to be vending there together with Brooklyn General Store. Amy and I are very close friends. We decided that I was going to make a design to be presented during that time. It's not going to be an exclusive design by any means. It's going to come out for everyone at the same time. I'm just going to be using her yarn, and people will be able to find the yarn at the show, but also I'm pretty sure that Amy offers all these yarns online at the same time. So nothing is exclusive. It's just a good time to promote something together whenever we are getting together at a show. What else? I will be wearing the sample that Mom is making for me. So if you see me there, you will see me at least one of the days I will be wearing this cardigan. And yeah, so here it is, the way it's working out. Mom has her notes, and it's an all-over cable and bubble design, and she's a magician, so she can match my gauge perfectly. I gave her a swatch that I had made and blogged, and I told her, can you try to match this, because I like the way this looks and I like the fabric, and also I made all the calculations for this amount of stitches. Of course, Mom matched that, What else can I say? I'm using a new technique for the bubbles that I liked. Did you like the technique?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
So all these bubbles are really perky and they stay in place, and we don't need to.
They don't move.
They don't move a millimeter, which makes us really happy, and they really stand out. We are using a really cool fading sequence, and because most of the pattern is the wrong side of the stockinette stitch, the fading looks really, really subtle. I really like. I wrote for Mom all the amounts of rows she has to knit with each color, so she's basically following the finished pattern, but now she has to make the front. So this is part of the back piece. She now has to make the front, and apparently my notes are not clear enough. So as soon as we finish recording this part,
look, it is not going to be an easy project. It
No.
is not, but it is very nice.
I know I like to make both. You guys know that I like to make very simple things,
Very simple, like the wrap.
and I
very
also
difficult,
like to make
this,
things that are masterpiece. Like whenever you're wearing this cardigan, people are going to stop you and say, hey, what are you wearing? What is this pattern? What is this yarn? And
sometimes you look at project and you say, oh, this is easy, and then when you start knitting, oh my god.
yeah, so the construction is not difficult. It's basically
No.
rectangles, and there's almost no shaping at all, but the stitch pattern is,
Yeah.
you know, there's a lot of bubbles, there's a
Yeah.
lot of cabling, so it's just the stitch pattern. Once you master the stitch
You
pattern,
must be very attentive.
you must pay
you must pay
attention
attention.
to the row number
Yeah.
you're on, and not to slip any
Yeah.
stitches, but it's looking amazing.
Después
Mom.
recordás el patrón.
Yeah, once you memorize the
Yeah.
pattern, Mom says,
But
then-
you must be very, very paying
yeah, you have
attention.
to pay attention to,
Yeah.
you know, how many rows you've knit, so that you change
Yeah.
color whenever you have to. Okay, so this is going out. This is going great, Mom. Thanks so much.
Yeah, it is very, very nice. Very, very difficult to knit, but it's nice to
make. Yes. Thank you, Mommy. Okay, and then my last work in progress is this one, living in my new Lenya bucket bag from Joji & Co. And it's a Colorwork pullover that I'm designing. So this is also for the book. As you can see, I've been diligently working on the book, so hopefully we will have a book next year, because I'm very motivated. I've been talking about working on my own book for how long? Every year I say, I'm going to work on my book. I'm going to work on my book. Let's see if you guys need to encourage me to work on my book and like not publish the patterns individually, just save them for the book, save them for the book.
I must save some patterns for the book.
Yes. So this is the new design that I'm working on. Oh, I love it in the camera. I love it so much. I wanted something really fussy. So first I thought, okay, I'm going to use merino with mohair to make a fussy colorwork sweater. But you know, that's fussy, but we've seen it and it's fussy, but not super fussy. So I thought, how about instead I do double mohair, and so it becomes super fussy and super cozy and super beautiful and super luxurious colorwork sweater. So I'm using, all my yarns are double-stranded mohair, which makes for a very easy to work yarn. I don't hate it, but I don't enjoy working with single merino because it's difficult. Sometimes it's slippery.
Mohair, no?
No, I mean, I don't love to work with one strand of mohair.
Ah, okay.
Sorry,
Yeah.
but with two strands of mohair,
It
I
is-
really do.
yeah,
It's really
yeah.
easy. The mohair sticks together, so it's not very common for you to just
Yeah.
need one of the strands. The strands tend to create this like
Yeah.
one
It's much
one
easier.
yarn. It's much easier to work with two strands
Yeah.
of mohair than one. And the gauge is super friendly because I'm knitting at 19 stitches to 4 inches. So that is not too bad.
No.
And I am using 4mm needles, so not tiny needles, because I don't want this to be tight because it will already be so warm. So I'm trying not to make it too tight or too stiff. I love the fabric that this is creating. This is not a circular yoke. I wanted to create a Colorwork sweater that has a raglan sleeve that it's nicely graded for all the sizes. Because I love circular yokes, but sometimes they tend to be a little bit tight around the shoulder area, especially if you're not careful when stranding all the colors. But I'm hopeful that the raglan will fit a little bit better. I still love a circular yoke, but I wanted to do something different. So this is a raglan design. You can see the raglan lines there. There's going to be a chart for every size. Probably I'm going to have to chart each size separately, especially when we get here to the underarm, because that's when my grading starts diverging for all the different sizes. I start getting instructions for the smaller, some instructions apply to the smaller sizes, some instructions for the mediums, and some instructions for the larger sizes. But yeah, so far it's going very well. I'm using very simple motifs for two reasons. First of all, I will have to chart all this, and so I'm trying to give myself an easier job by using easier motifs. Second is I'm using super fast yarns, so even if I did like an intricate drawing, which I don't know that I'm capable of doing, but let's suppose that I do a super intricate drawing, it will get obscured by the fluff in the yarn. So I don't know if it's worth it. We'll see. Perhaps next year I design a super intricate design in Mohair. We'll see. I'm starting with this. I'm trying to see how I do grading this raglan design in all the sizes. You know, I had a fiasco last year trying to design something in 10 sizes with a different chart for each size. It didn't turn out so well, and I had to abandon the design. So wish me luck for this. I hope I am actually able to grade it. Do you like it?
Yes. It's very light.
Very light. So the yarn that I'm using is Mohair silk, and this is by Magpie Fibers. The base is called Feather, and I'm using these 4 colors. So I'm probably going to put here the colors of the name in this order. As I said, this is double-stranded mohair. I'm loving it. I super recommend you try double-stranded mohair. I have designed with double-stranded mohair before. If you remember, my Mimi cardigan was also made with 2 strands of mohair, and I did a kind of like a marling fade in reds. And yeah, and I love that it creates a super warm but super light fabric. So we'll see how that works. That's my third and last work in progress for today. Do you have anything else to share?
Anything more.
So before we go, I'm going to talk about Barcelona Knits. It was fantastic, a fantastic festival. If you ever have the chance to travel to this show, I highly recommend you put it in your bucket list, because the show organization was spectacular. The place that is held in, it's amazing. It's a venue next to the beach, not next to the beach, in the water, on the water. Literally, it's amazing. There are sea views from every classroom. What else? I taught 2 workshops there. One was the sweater workshop that I teach together with my friend Vera. We teach together in the same classroom. And then that was on Sunday, and then on Saturday I taught a new workshop called Grading Size Inclusive Patterns. If you were there with me in the class, then I hope you enjoyed the class. I hope that you got something out of it. I worked really hard on all the content. I'm passionate about what I do. A grading class is basically opening the door for someone to see how I work, how I really make all the sizing work for all of my designs. So it was very fun for me to teach that and to share with so many designers. We had most of my students were accomplished designers, and it was a great meeting, that class. The vendors,
a lot of people.
Yes, the vendors at the show were amazing. The best marketplace I've seen in a very long time. All my favorites were there. It was irresistible. I could not come home without some yarn from them. I saw so many of my dying friends. Yeah, it was really good. I got to know a lot of new brands. My credit card was in trouble there because honestly, I had never seen so much beautiful yarn. I was so happy to be there. I had already taught classes in June at Lake Placid, if you remember, in New York for Vogue Knitting Live, and there were 3 shops vending there, but this was outstanding. There were dozens and dozens of booths. All of them were, one better than the other one. It was amazing. And finally, the people. I don't think I've ever received this much love from any other country that I've been. People from Spain were so warm and so welcoming, and they made me feel like truly welcome and loved. So my deepest gratitude to everyone in Spain, and I will try to come back and do it again sometime, but if I can't, just know that you've made me so incredibly happy, and I truly appreciate all your love and support and all your words. Every photo that you asked me to have taken with you, it was truly amazing to be appreciated in such a way. And so many people talked about you and asked me how you were and sent you their love and their gifts. So
I must be there next time.
Yes, mom. Anyway, so you want to see what things I brought home, right? You want to see all the yarn that I brought home from Spain. So here it is. You have already seen the yarn that Aitana gifted to my mom. She also gifted me 1 skein of yarn for me to use, and this is what I picked. Aitana picked the color for mom, and this is the color that I picked for myself. This is a different base. She was sold out of Rosalind base, the one that mom is using. She didn't have any left because it's really spectacular. But this doesn't fall short. This is 50% merino superwash, 50% silk, and the base is called Lise, Lise, and this color is called China. So it's 50% silk, 50% merino. Beautiful. Then let me put here. Of course, you saw the yarn that Amy brought to me that mom is working on. That is also something that I brought from Spain. Then my friends Marian and Steffi were there. Marian and Steffi own the yarn company Frida Fuchs from Berlin, and they brought me a lot of yarn for me to play with this year or next year. They brought me 2 skeins of each of these colors, but I'm only showing you one. And this is Frida Fuchs Stepke single. This is a single ply fingering weight merino. 100% superwash, and this is a 400 yard skein, and the colors that they gifted me are curcuma. They are all my colors, of course, because they are some of my best friends and they know me. This is Weizen. And here are curcuma and Weizen for you to see the difference between them both. They are both beautifully yellow and gold. Then, of course, black and white. The white, or like super light gray, is called platin. The almost black is called Vanille Schote or Vanilla Bean. And the pink is called Schlafmorn. And they said it was a flower. They told me which one, but I can't remember which one it was. So this is Frida Fuchs Stepke single. In those 5 colors. Then, and of course, they also brought the matching Mohair in the same colors. So they brought 2 skeins of platin. Their Mohair base is called Fifi lace. This is the Weizen. This is the curcuma. This is the Vanille Schote. And this is the Schlafmorn. Thank you, Marion and Steffi. Again, I can't wait to make something with them. I already have an idea of what I'm going to make. I won't say it here, but I may ask you to help me with that when you finish with this one.
I'll be ready.
Then, of course, what collection was there? As I mentioned, she was selling the yarn for the shawl of the Streets of Barcelona shawl, and she was having a lot of new bases. My eyes were crazy. I love her colors. I would have gotten so many things, but what I chose is this gorgeous, crazy big kid mohair in this very unusual for me color, but which I think I really like. She recommended this color for me, and I think she's always right. Even though I'm chicken and I don't get wild colors, I did get this one. This is called Wild Orchid. And the big kid mohair is 78% mohair, 13% wool, 9% nylon. This is a DK weight, 200 meters in 100 gram, but she had a sample and she had knitted it using 8mm needles, and it looked amazing. And I can't wait to try this on 8mm needles. I mean, this has to knit so fast, right? And it has to be so light.
Yeah.
So I only brought 4 skeins of this wild orchid mohair, and I plan to make a sweater. I don't know whether it's going to be a cardigan or a pullover. I think a cardigan. You guys have been great helping me in the past decide whether to start the cardigan or a pullover. So let me know what you think. I think a cardigan would be cool, but I also think that a pullover might be easier, because you don't have to worry about what you're wearing underneath. I don't know. Pullover, cardigan. Pullover, cardigan. I have 4 skeins. 4 skeins. Okay. This is another brand I truly love. One of my faves. Olan is a company in Ireland, and it's run by Jess. And I've met Jess in several occasions. The first time I met her in person, she was a student of mine at the Bath Retreat, remember, in the UK? And then do you remember that there was this small marketplace?
Yeah.
So she was one of the vendors there, and she had these stunning yarns, amazing yarns. And I have designed beautiful things with her yarn. Top of my mind, Siggy Shawl was designed with Olan, and Winter Trail Scowl was designed with her yarn too. The Flora Socks was designed with her yarn. Well, I love her yarn, I truly do. Jess, during the pandemic, she acquired a mill in Ireland, so she's spinning her own yarns and she's having a blast doing so. So she's dyeing the bags of yarn and then having it spun. So this is her milled yarn. She of course was offering a lot of her hand-dyed yarn, which is spectacularly gorgeous. She has the most impeccable color sense. But I was truly interested in her milled yarn because it's something that I can't get from other dyers. This is milled, this is Jess's mill, su hilandería, and so no one else will have the same base. No other dyer will have
There's no way to
the same base. So I got 2 of each of these colors. This is her Mera is the it's a name of the yarn. So it's Mera. Let's see if it focuses on the name like that. Okay, I don't think it is. It's 100% fine merino, created using wash fast and light fast dyes. It may bleed on first wash. I don't think this will.
Maybe other colors.
Maybe other colors. This is ethically sourced, hand-dyed fiber, spun in Ireland. Based in Cavan, our yarn is crafted in our fiber mill and inspired by our surroundings. And this colorway name is Hue. Hue, like the name.
Priestess?
Priestess. Oh, I think I've used that color for another design. Priestess. That is sacerdotisa. So hue is like an ivory beigey with some pale blue hints and some pink also there. Beautiful, beautiful. And then priestess, of course, you know, I love this olive green. It's so deep, so beautiful. This is more a solid color, and this is more like a tonal. Yeah, she has soft colors, but also she has barber pole, so moline, barber pole yarn, heathered, a lot of heathered colors, japeaditos, beautiful yarn. You should go check it out. Meara by Olan. I still haven't knit with this. I'm really looking forward. I have 2 in the Priestess and 2 in the Hue, and I love them. Thank you so much, Jess. And then there were 2 new to me or newish to me companies. This company I showed a couple of journals ago. They are called Fios da Fazenda, and they make Brazilian yarns. Of course, they are based in Brazil, but they have a big retailer in Europe, and so they were vending there, and they gave me 2 of their bases to try. This one is a single ply and it's a light fingering. This is their Milonga, and it's 500 meters per 100 grams, so it's definitely lighter than a regular fingering weight. And this is 100% superwash merino yarn. Yeah, so I have 2 of these, 1,000 meters. I suppose that would be enough for a sweater with 2 skeins. And then the other skein is more rustic feeling. And this is Carmenere, and it's a fingering weight 400 meters. This is 100% Corriedale wool, and this is all Brazilian wool, which is not something very usual to see anywhere. So I was very happy and very grateful to get to try these yarns from Fios da Fazenda. Thank you so much. And the second company, these guys were so cute together. They were a couple. I don't remember their names, but they were so nice. I now follow them on Instagram because they were the cutest and they were so happy to be vending. This is a Chilean company.
Oh, yeah.
And they travel with their yarns to Spain to be able to vend. It's called Corralito Yarns, and they have impeccable yarns. So go check them out, Corralito Yarns. They have sold out of almost all of their yarns. When I got there, they said, "Oh, please take one of our skeins." They didn't have much, but I love this color, and they said it was the most popular for them. They said every time they dye it, they can't keep it in the shop, and I thought it was perfect for a pair of socks. So, oh, and now I remember I need to show you another yarn that I didn't bring. So I brought this color home, and it's called Moon City. We got a bit of sun coming here, so I'm trying to keep the yarn away from that. It's called Moon City.
Let me see.
And this is 400 meters in 100 grams of 100% merino yarn. And I forgot to bring this very special gift. It should be with my blues. See, now that everything is arranged by color, I can find my yarn so easily. This is a very special gift from a student of mine, Gabriela. She lives in Switzerland and she has her own yarn company. It's called Icelandic. And she brought me 3 of these skeins. She said, it's just for you. It's a gift for you to do whatever you want. You don't have to design with it. So, but it's beautiful. She's the sweetest. And I actually think it would make really great socks and beanies for Nano, actually. I think he would be very, very pleased. This is 85% merino, 50% Donegal. It's a tweedy yarn. And so this is Icelandic Donegal fingering. Look at that. So gorgeous. The color is called Silver Linings. It's like a denim blue. So thank you, Gabriela. Again, this is Icelandic in Donegal fingering.
Where is she from?
From Switzerland. Yeah, so that, I think that is all I brought. Oh, one more thing. I brought home some yarn from Mayak because I will be designing a shawl with their yarn that will be featured at the retreat that I'm working at next year. It will, of course, then later be published for everyone, but I think that I will be using these 2 colors. This is their Baby Yak Silk, I think it's called. I never know their names very well. It's 50% Baby Yak, 50% silk, and it's a fingering weight. These are 25 gram skeins, so they are small. I brought home a lot of them because 4 of these make the same as 1 skein of fingering weight. And the colors that I picked are Fieno, and Savitri, which is like a mustard. So yeah, and lastly, this was something that also Catherine from Work Collection gifted me. This is a little Notions box. So it's a little cardboard box with some tiny scissors, some markers, and needle toppers, and a tag to add to your Work Collection garments, which I might add if I make that purple mohair sweater. I may add the tag, so then you can close it like that. So I think that's it. It was a lot, I know, for this video. I hope that you enjoyed seeing all the beautiful yarns and all our beautiful projects. Thank you, Mom, for coming to record this journal with me.
It was a pleasure.
Should we go and study that project and see if we can make it work?
Over the table.
Yes. So thank you
Bye-bye.
for watching and see you guys next time. Bye bye.